Hey everyone, it's Ericka Sallee of True Synergy, and welcome back to my channel. If this is the first time that you're here, let me welcome you and say thank you for stopping by. True Synergy is a personal coaching and professional development company where I help women and organizations to figure out just what stands in the way of their success. And so here I not only share those barriers, but I give you little snippets or tidbits or tips that you can use in order to break down those barriers. And so if these are conversations that interest you, then I do encourage you to, yes, subscribe to this channel. Go ahead and share it out and then turn your notifications on so that you know when brand new videos are uploaded. And so the topic for today really is the next in a series that I've been sharing over the last couple days as we started off the brand new year. And that is 10 best ideas to jumpstart your brand new year. And so today's topic is really about creating small wins. And if you haven't seen the other videos in the series, then I do encourage you to go back and check those out. Each of the links are included in the description of this video, and you can watch them in whatever order makes sense for you, so long as you get all of the tips, because I do believe that collectively you can take all of this information and you can really create the launch pad that you need to create your success. So, when we think about achieving a goal, a lot of times when we think about it, our level of transformation typically involves something that is bigger than where we are right now. And it can feel very, very big and astronomical. And sometimes we think about it so much that it weighs us down and talks us out of actually taking the steps in order to make it happen, whatever the it is for you. And so when you think about small wins, I always like to say every little moment and every little thing that we do toward that bigger goal or that bigger idea, that dream, that vision is an opportunity to celebrate those small wins. And so sometimes we put ourselves down because we say, oh gosh, I didn't get it accomplished and it was too much and I just couldn't do it. And so what I'm suggesting in this conversation is if we take whatever the bigger thing is and we break it down into smaller, achievable, bite-sized chunks, then it gives us a better opportunity for success, and that's how we set ourselves up to create those small wins. So let's use an example. Now, if you've ever been in conversation with me before, whether on my social media sites, in a coaching relationship, or a professional development session that I've done, you've heard me talk about the fact that when we are setting out to do something, we should look at it from the perspective of what are the things that I can absolutely start to do that makes sense for me. And when we think about that, then it helps us to put in context how to create something that we can actually say, oh my gosh, this is a win, let me check the box. So I often use the example of weight, okay? Weight is something that I know I talk about often because I think it's something that each and every one of us can relate to. Either we're trying to lose it, and in some cases, some people are trying to gain more of it. And so I use it because I think it's a relatable context. So you may have heard me mention this before, but let's say, for instance, if you're looking at where you are right now and you say, oh my gosh, I really could stand to lose about 10 to 15 pounds. I myself, that's where I am right now. You know what it's like when you put on something that feels a little bit more snug than what you're used to. That's an indicator that perhaps you may want to make some different choices. So let's say that's the goal. And 10 to 15 pounds doesn't sound like a lot from numbers' sake. But when you think about it in terms of, well, what is it going to take for me to lose it? It feels like, oh my gosh, that's a lot. I have to do a lot of different things. And so instead of us focusing on, oh my gosh, 10 to 15 pounds seems like it's a whole lot and how am I going to get there? What am I going to do? Then break it down and start to back into it. So you might say, okay, well, some things that I know I may have to do is I might have to change what I eat. I might have to change when I eat it. I might have to change how much of it I eat. I might have to change when I go to sleep at night. I might also have to incorporate some type of movement or some physical exercise. So these are all the things you may be saying to yourself, okay, if this is the goal over here, then what are some of the other things that I can do to get me there? And so instead of trying to say, oh gosh, all the weight coming off, then you might just start with something small. So let's say you pick a few tasks and you say, well, if me drinking more water is what I need to do, then let me start there. And you might be the kind of person who never drinks water. And you might say to yourself, if I could just start with 1 glass of water a day, and you get to decide what that glass is. For you, it might be a little glass the size of this, especially if you don't drink water at all. So you get to decide that. So you say, I'm going to start with 1 glass of water a day. And you commit to doing that, even if you have to put a note on your phone, or if you have to write it down and say, okay, I'm going to drink this glass of water. And you drink that. That's a win. And you celebrate yourself for that. You know, back in the day, I can remember I used to have a calendar, and I would write the things in the calendar that I wanted to get done, and I had these little stickers that I would use to reward myself when I completed a task. And so when I went back to look at the calendar, this was years ago, and I happened to come across it, and I'm looking through it, I'm like, look at all these little stickers. And so that was a way for me to say, hey, girl, you did it. So celebrate yourself for small wins, yes, but give yourself the manageable way to achieve even creating that small win. So 1 glass a day, oh my gosh, that is a small win. That means that you might use that entire week and say, okay, every day this week, I'm gonna drink at least 1 glass of water a day. And every day that you do it, you celebrate yourself. It could be a sticky on something. It could be just you looking in the mirror saying, hey, you did it. It could be giving yourself a rah-rah. It could be doing something even more out of the box, where you go to the dollar store and you buy a little set of pom-poms and you keep it somewhere, wherever you have designated yourself a reminder to accomplish whatever that small win is. And when you do it, you pick up that pom-pom and you just say, hey, you be your own cheerleader, okay? So small wins are very important, and small wins help us to not just say, okay, I did this. Got it, celebrating myself for that. But it also gives you the opportunity to then build upon that, so that the next time you say, okay, if I got through this week and I drank 1 glass of water every single day this week, then when next week comes, I'm gonna say, all right, let me do 2 glasses of water. And you continue on with that. And then when you do that, you can build on that and keep moving and celebrating yourself all along the way. So I'm using this quick, simple example to show you how to build the mindset around doing something small that gets you to whatever that goal is. So now you get to say, well, what is my goal? Like, what is my big thing that I'm thinking about? And maybe you're thinking about it with trepidation and you're like, oh my gosh, is this really too much? How can you break it down? How can you use this example that I've shared with you in this small amount of time to say, all right, how can I apply that to me? Because that's really what this conversation is about. When you hear this, what I want you to do is I want you to walk away from this and say, how can I apply this to me? And then get into action so that you can do it. Now, if you say to yourself, all right, I hear you, I got it, I'm going to take this, but I might need a little bit more help along the way to help me figure out, how do I continue to create these small wins? How do I get to the big win? How do I even know what the big win is? I haven't even started to figure that out for myself. If that is you and you're looking for a partner to help you figure out what next is, then I encourage you to go to my website. Yes, truesynergy.org, TRUSYNERGY.org. You can also find the link to the website in the description of this video as well. And there's an option for you to just reach out and contact me and say, hey, listen, let's have a 30 to 45 minute conversation. Let's figure out where you are right now, what you're trying to do, where you want to go, and then how I can possibly help you get there. It's just that simple. See, sometimes we complicate it. That within itself is a small win. If you're thinking about this big thing called change and transformation, and how do I create my best version, and it sounds like so much, but what do I do? A small win might just be clicking that contact button and having the opportunity to have a phone call. And it's just that simple. All right, so listen, I look forward to seeing you all again real soon. Until I do, take care, and yes, be well.